All right, I think we're live. You
What's
all clear
up?
on your side?
hmm
That was kind of a little curveball, but that's all good. Hey,
We already got folks coming in. What's
yeah, we
good?
got people rolling in, so we'll just run it from here. We got, I guess, technical difficulties going on. I'm not exactly sure what's going on, but Dimpled Wonder's in the house and he says, "What's up?" So I guess we are clear. He said, "Damn, you just dropped the video. I'm gonna have to watch it later." Cool,
Yeah,
cool.
watch this one first, and then go back, and then double back to what
Yeah,
me and Tran. We got. I've just been posting like a maniac today, so y'all just enjoy all the content. Make sure you hit the like button, subscribe to everybody's channel, the whole bit. But yeah, we out here mash drops.
Steve said, "I got time today."
I got time today. It
Yes,
must
sir.
be the
So
fresh cut confidence. You know what I'm saying? Boy got a little
looking
crispy
good.
today.
Yeah, I see you. I
Got a
see
little
you. I see you tidied up over there. Looking good, man.
fresh
I'm
cut
I'm I'm
confidence.
past due for to get my ears lowered myself, honestly. But that's why we're gonna go hat and earphones today, so you guys ain't gonna see me slipping. Not today. Not today, Satan. But we do got some football.
Let's
Big
talk
big week.
ball.
SEC intro. Feet wet. Texas at Florida in Gainesville. Matchup maybe not quite the same. Let's just say the media hype or the mainstream fluff that it would have gotten. Let's just say 5 weeks ago in the preseason, but it's still SEC football, man, and anything goes, especially on the road for Texas entering SEC play. It's going to be a hostile environment. It's still a team that has a top 10 opponent walking into their house, right? And so that's what I was trying to convey. Just because Florida hasn't looked that great, that doesn't mean they're gonna roll over on you. That's a loaded SEC roster with a very talented quarterback, with their number one weapon getting back healthy, with an NFL a first round potential, in my opinion. Jaden Ball running back. They've their best interior defensive lineman is going to miss this game, but they're getting another guy back.
hmm
You might say that their best cover corner to date is now going to be thrust into a starting role due to another injury. So lots of physicality, lots of size, lots of just lots of untapped potential. If we're being real on that, on from Florida side of things, but we want to kick it off, man, and just discuss general thoughts from. I want to get Steven's thoughts of where he feels the program is, but I guess just we're everybody's pretty comfortable, rightfully so, with the defense. So, Steven, do you have any introductory thoughts of what you are hoping to see, or what you are hoping that Texas got corrected over the bye week, and just general expectations heading into Gainesville?
Yeah. So for me, I look at the Florida tackles on offense. Where's the food? Right. I'm gonna be
Mm-hmm.
blunt. Where's the food? Who do we who? I'm a basketball guy too, right? And so you know who's the matchup that who are we trying to
Okay.
get switches onto? You know what I'm saying, Landon?
Mm-hmm.
Who are we
Yes,
trying to
sir.
isolate? And one of the things, if you look at before Florida's bye week, our bye week
Find,
as well.
find the scrub, as Vach would say.
Exactly.
Find the
Exactly.
scrub.
Shout out to Vach Lombardi.
Mm-hmm.
They Miami really did a great job of exploiting those tackles with Ruben Bain. Ruben Bain, for those who don't know, might probably in the running for the number one pick in the 2026 draft, but an
Got a
elite
case.
edge talent, right? And he's
Mm-hmm.
been wrecking stuff at Miami. But if you look at, and I posted that on purpose on Twitter today, because the bend and some of the things that he was able to do, and there was no games, there was no stunts. It was just mano a mano. Okay, those are some of the things that Colin Simmons excels at, especially if the quarterback is going to have the ball for longer than 2 seconds and not be running quick game. Right, we're talking
Right.
about really working downfield, going through progressions. That's what I want to see us just be a little bit more explosive at, quite frankly, because running our defense out of base, we're one of the most productive defenses in the country. We're number two in scoring defense. We're top five in third down conversion. We're top three in fourth down. We're top 25 in turnovers. Like, we've been handling our business based upon, relative to the opponent, but also relative to what people have been doing to avoid us.
Mm-hmm.
People knew we had a reputation coming into this season about pass rush type stuff. So number one is that just out of base, but
Right.
also, and we may or may not see it in the Florida game. I'll be honest with you because weather may play a part in this formationally. But as we get really into the bulk of our in the grid of our SEC schedule, PK is going to open up the bag. He really hasn't had to open up the bag. We got, I mean, he had to play
Close
Ohio State out of
to the best.
base
Yeah.
because they had a freshman quarterback in his first start. So
Not a lot of
there was
answers.
nothing
No scouting
exotic.
report. Hmm.
Yeah.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So as we start to play the John Mateers of the world and the Diego Pavias, and we really start to get after some of these guys. What's up, Quinn? Quinn throwing his $5 in here. What's up? What's up, my boy? What's
Wasting no
up?
time. I see you, Q. Thanks for the love, man. Appreciate
Um,
it.
yeah, you gotta expect. For example, Anthony Hill last year, and I've been saying this all over the place. He had 8 sacks last year. He had 6.5 as a freshman.
Yeah.
Have you how many pass rush opportunities Ant Hill really had? Like legit, we've really been sending him.
Not
That's for
many.
the big boys.
Hmm.
That's for the and I say the big boys. I'm talking about the people that are really threatening us
Right.
as from a passing perspective. So defensively, to answer your question, I do expect to see more heaters, more exotic things. We are banged up at corner a little bit.
A little bit.
Kobe Black is on the injury report. Manny
Hmm.
Muhammad, as of this recording, is questionable. So maybe that is another reason to get things going. Now they are very high behind the scenes on Phillips,
Yes.
and they're probably going to play Phillips regardless. We already know how they feel about Grayson Littleton and his role at nickel,
Yep.
but with the situation with the corners being a little and the injuries that have occurred in practice, maybe now PK ups the ante a little bit up front.
Could be. And I like what you said about that's important because I know Texas gets the vaunted number one pass rush in the country hype preseason, and then you have one big time matchup where you have a quality offensive minded head coach and a ton of skill like a perimeter talent to sort of help circumvent the responsibility of asking a first time starter in a matchup like that, albeit at home at the shoe, to sit back in the pocket and really just progress, like pure progression, pick Texas apart. That was never going to be the case, right? So there was a plan in place to sort of, like I said, circumvent those things. And then you go and play, let's call it what it is, a couple tune-up games, 3 tune-up games,
Three
right?
tune-up games.
And teams that have the same philosophy, they know they don't have a chance if they try to. They have to. They try to kitchen and sink you with some run game stuff, ball control, and if they're forced into long 3rd and long situations, it's a wrap. To begin with, but this Texas team hasn't really had a chance to go and hunt yet because teams have been intentionally eliminating that from the range of outcomes, right? It's been a intentional effort to avoid just that pass rush, right? But then a similar factor, let's just kind of hone in on one specific player, Colin Simmons, right? Last year, Steven, there's this thing where you're being asked to step onto the field in certain pass rush situations, right? A designated pass rusher, if you will. He's 100% fresh every time he walks out there. Now, all of a sudden, he's thrust into a role to where he's more of an every down player. He's got to play the run. He's out there on early downs. He's maybe doing some other things that maybe aren't necessarily his strong suit or what he's known for. But then you pair that with, okay, playing more snaps, more reps, more accountability, more on your plate as an edge. And also teams just intentionally avoiding you. You're going to see a little bit of a dip in
Oh, you're the
production.
head honcho on the scouting report now,
Yes,
brother.
sir. Yes, sir.
You're the first 3 names that come up. Last year
Mhm.
you were it was, oh yeah, 11 might flash, right? Now you're the first name up there. Dimple Wonder donations. Appreciate you, brother. Thank you.
Lil John had to
It's
had to hop in and say a little something to us. I'm sorry about that one.
no, you're good. Colin though did get to that point at the end of last year in the big boy games, though. To be fair to him,
Yeah, that's fair.
I also think he's been a little trigger happy because He talked a lot of
You
stuff
can
in the
see him. You can
offseason.
see the pressing. You can
Yeah.
see it. It's like
He's like, dude, I want to get 15 sacks this year. And I
no.
kept saying to people, I'm like, guys, we got to temper that because half of the schedule is going to avoid you. They're going to duck you.
Correct.
They're gonna do everything Landon just described, right, to avoid that stuff. But what people want to see, and I do think is fair, and they need to be held accountable here, is in those situations where it's very obvious that you have an opportunity to hunt, you have a one-on-one, the quarterback does hold the ball. If we're not seeing that productivity, if we're not seeing that disruption, then I think it is fair to question what's going on, right? Why aren't y'all getting home? Because when those opportunities present themselves, y'all need to be all over it. And so while 11 sacks isn't bad that they have overall, and I don't think the pass rush has been bad, but I do understand some of the people that are saying, hey, Malachi did hold the ball a little bit sometimes, and we didn't get there. We weren't as disruptive as I'd like, right? So I do think that's fair, especially organically without the heaters.
I was going to say that's mostly 4-man pressures. It's not like it's not a concerted effort on behalf of PK to dial them up. But yes, point well taken.
So I'm grading them in conference play. When we, like I said, when we play these quarterbacks, and there's several of them who they will come into the game looking to execute and run their stuff straight up, and we will have those opportunities. So TBD on it, honestly. TBD on it. But overall, net, even without that, they've been great. Our young guys like the Grayson Littletons of the world, the Jelani McDonalds. To me, one of the biggest revelations out of all this is Jelani McDonald, just his ascension to becoming a star. I think he's a star player now on this Texas team.
By the way, that was clear to me. That was clear to me, Steven. That it was a clear tell when Michael Taff is at the podium at SEC Media Days. Steve Sarkisian's at the podium at SEC Media Days. We're having these conversations all the time, right? There's a few different instances of Texas related personnel discussing, hey guys, how do we get not just me, Michael Taff, not just my buddy over here, Derek Williams, who is a rising star in his own right, but this other guy named Jelani McDonald. Yeah, we need all three of us on the field at the exact same time as often as we can get that. That's how good this dude is. He's got to be out there on the field. And so that was kind of the tell for me. I was like, okay, yeah, breakout year incoming. Here we go.
Amin, thank you for the Amin over here getting donations in too. We appreciate you, brother.
No, I see you. I see you. Let me get that up there too. There you
go. Development is certainly happening in the room, and it's exciting to see those guys playing with confidence. Michael Taff, I'm glad you brought him up. Right now, I actually think. And you haven't seen highlights, you haven't seen interceptions. I actually think he's playing more consistent, sound football and showing just crazy leadership than he even did last year as an All-American, playing with Andrew Makuba, playing with Jade Barron, right? Playing with all these guys, that are pros now. And it's exciting to see how he's been kind of playing this little rover midfield safety role and just kind of taking stuff away in both front and pass game. But guys, the field, who do you avoid on Texas?
Right.
Like you can't avoid all these people. You know what I mean? Like it's like, all right, well, we got to stick to the perimeter. And it's like, well, they got Manny out there. They got Jalen Gilbo out there. They got Jelani McDonald roaming mid to low. They got this other guy, the brainiac in the back, who's figuring everything out and getting people lined up correctly. Like, and then you got people like Anthony Hill underneath.
I was just about to say, you talk about big number 0 there in the middle, who needs no introduction or explanation. But what's the alternative, right? You're going to try to avoid Texas's pass rush, and then you're going to willingly and confidently tell me that you're going to walk your way into a stone, a brick, whatever you want to call it, a titanium wall of, featuring Cole Brevard and Hero Canoe and Murad Watson and Alex January again, whenever he's 100% ready to roll. And he is back this week, correct? Did I see that?
January is.
Yeah. So what do you do? I mean, you could argue as good as the Texas defensive line interior has been over the last couple of years, they have not. This is rinse repeat, man. I mean, Cole Brevard, listen, you can oversimplify it, and that's what I'm about to do right now. You can look at what they did, their approach to the offseason via the portal. Okay. Steve Sarkisian obviously knows what you and I know, what I've heard you talk about before, what I try to preach to my community over and over again, literally till the cows come home. I'm beating that dead horse, man. The importance of the defensive tackle position, not just in the National Football League, but in college football. That is, like, I argue, aside from quarterback play, it's the most difficult position to find difference-making talent at, but it's also the single biggest jump, level to level. At every single level you go up, and I'm telling you, I'm talking about from high school to college, from JUCO to D2, from D2 to D1, from D1 FCS to D1 FBS, from FBS to Power 4, from Power 4 to SEC, and from SEC all the way on up to the NFL. 100%. The biggest difference, the biggest jump, the most substantial difference is the defensive tackle play, aside from quarterback. And so just look at the Clemsons of the world, right? Their reign, their run, the guys that they put into the league who are still wrecking things now in the National Football League. Mm-hmm. It was the defensive front, but more specifically, the defensive interior. Alabama, the same thing. Georgia, the same thing. Jalen Carter and Jordan Davis played on the same football team in college, guys. There's a reason why they won national championships together. Okay, Deron Payne, Jonathan Allen played on the same college football team. There's a reason why they won national championships together. Okay, there's a reason why Texas is now in the hunt every single year. We can zoom out a little bit and say that it's trench play in general, but difference-making defensive tackle play to where they can play defenses and or they can play opposing offenses with a light box and still stop their run and allocate more bodies, more resources to defending the pass as a result of T'Vondre Sweat, Keandre Coburn, Moro Ojimo. Let's keep on naming them. Help me out here. Last year, 3rd round pick to the Niners. Come on.
Oh, Alfred Collins, Byron Murphy,
Vernon Broughton.
Yeah.
Byron Murphy. Thank you. Like, the list goes on and on, but now it's rinse repeat with this group. Mm-hmm. And I don't feel like they're getting enough love, the love that they deserve. Look no further. Shutting out an opponent, guys, when, and Steven, you can tell me if I'm wrong here. You can say, well, like, let's stop putting the horse before the carriage before the horse. Like, you shut out Sam Houston State. I get it. People are going to overlook that. But when you know how outmatched they are and you still don't let them put a single point on the board, they barely crossed the 50-yard line. That's a defense that's not only loaded with talent, but it's a defense that's dialed in. And they, because they understand, listen, Colin Simmons, Ethan Burke, Colton Vosick, those guys know, hey, don't get comfortable, Bubba, because guess who's coming right behind you? Lance Jackson. He's sniffing. Mm-hmm. He's hunting, right? Zena. He's coming, right? And then think about all the linebacker play. You could argue you could make the case that the 3 best players on Texas's roster are all linebackers. You can make that case. The guys who have, like, the most important guys on their defense, you could make that case. But Ty Anthony Smith isn't even necessarily considered a starter. No. Most rosters in the SEC would love to have Ty Anthony Smith as LB1.
Oh, he'd be their leading tackler.
Right.
He'd be their leading tackler easily.
He's LB3 for Texas. Technically.
Texas is too deep. Smith Aragbo was one of our highest graded players last time, yeah. Right? Yeah. He would start for half of these teams right now as a freshman. So Texas's depth defensively and what they're able to do getting all these guys on the field. We saw Jonah Williams make his debut last game. By the way, y'all on my channel, y'all know I've been talking about people. This is quick sidebar. I promise. Quick sidebar.
No, make it long. We got time tonight.
But we've been talking about brothers needing to look the part, okay, with their gear. Because some of our boys are a little swaggerless, okay? You know who you are. You're out there with the most basic generic. You can't have the generic pads anymore, bro. We gotta have some drip. Jonah Williams was dripped out. That's how a star looks, okay? Bro had the bands. He had the go look up Jonah Williams in the Sam Houston State game. I think he had like an orange, he had like a burnt orange strap, like a wrist strap thing. I was like, bro, that guy gets it. He dressed the part. Okay, that if anything else, I think his PFF grade was actually pretty good. He got graded like a 70, but for the 10 snaps or whatever that he played. But he looked like a star. I was like, yo, who is number 9? Yo, he looked like he looked like a Sean Taylor out there. So, hey, Dimple Wonder, get your mind out the gutter, brother. Yeah, T, I told you that he looks the part.
Yeah,
the accessories matter, okay?
yeah, it does. It
The
matters.
stars get it. When you look like you
I had a rant about Caleb Williams. This dude was out there looking like he was out like I don't even know. I don't have a good comp for it, but this man is wearing a gray Sammy sleeves like undershirt underneath a blue like the Bears.
Oh yeah.
The Bears color scheme is blue, orange, and white. This dude
Yeah.
out there in a baggy gray undersleeve, and then the shirt tail, it's like hanging. It's underneath. It's coming out of his jersey underneath, and it's just flapping around. I'm like, brother, you didn't look very sharp in this game, but people like you're not inspiring any hope in your fan base. And I'm actually over there. This is after week 1. I'm talking to people. I'm like, listen, guys, y'all got to stay the course with this kid because it's gonna come along, and it is right. But needless to say,
we got it.
The way that you look matters. You got to inspire some confidence in people.
Caleb had drip in college. He did both at
Oh, yeah.
Oklahoma and USC. He had his pads fit properly. He had proper drip, and he had the visor.
Dibble gets it.
D Money can't get money sent to some donations. Just want to make sure he got highlighted
Let me
too.
see this.
I haven't seen you in a minute, bro. I hope everything's okay. Good to see you, man. Thanks for the donations. You're a real one, brother. Appreciate you. You know
So
what time it is. So I just
shout out.
yeah. Somebody else said this, and you know what? 5 of you either sent me a message on Twitter, Instagram, or whatever and said, Dante Fowler Jr. is not wearing gloves, Steve. What's yo, I bullshit you not. The amount of people that hit me up and were like, yo, in the Packers game, it was like 5 of you. That's how I know my message is getting through. Somebody was like, yo, why is the brother wearing gloves? What's he think this is, bro? And he didn't have the tape knuckles. If you ain't gonna wear the gloves, do the tape knuckles.
You gotta have I'm okay with no gloves if you got the tape knuckles. That's fine by me. But to the Dante Fowler point, and I'm not gonna go off on that tangent. I'm just gonna say I've had to be brutally honest about Dante on my channel, and I don't like having those discussions, but sometimes they're necessary for because Steve and I are not doing our jobs if we're not objectively creating the truth or conveying the truth in a creative manner for people like you guys. And so, I'm hoping that on the Dante Fowler discussion, because I have to do like a compliment sandwich. Like if I say something bad about somebody, I gotta optimistically sell it back up. But I do think that you keep him off the field on early downs. We had that discussion earlier. It was the whole domino effect of adding Jadeveon Clowney to the roster. It wasn't so much of Jadeveon Clowney in a vacuum being this difference maker and world beater. It's just the domino effect of what he creates, what his role does, right? It keeps guys like Dante Fowler off the field on non-pass downs, right? Just let him go hunt the quarterback on pass specific downs, a designated pass rusher, and then he'll look much more the part on that front, I promise. But needless to say, did you want to touch on the crash out arch for a second? Because I've seen that comment a couple times real quick. I mean, I have some thoughts, but if you have thoughts there, I want to let you lead that one.
Crash. Hold on. What's going on?
They're just saying it's after he flexed on numbers. Was it number 9 or number 6? Whoever it was.
In the Sam Houston State game.
They're saying it in a complimentary way. They're saying that was Arch crashing out, but in a good way, like him basically this hype machine. So. But I have thoughts, but I'll let you lead if you want.
Yeah. No, look. All I've said is bring that energy to the swamp. It is welcome. The locker room, everybody's behind you. People in the fan base are behind you. I don't care what other people have to say. Other people. Now, in the moment when it happened, not knowing the context, I did say, and I tweeted this. I said, "Look, half of me loves it because if it gets him going, I don't care."
I saw that tweet.
But It's also like, bro, you pulling up on a future enterprise worker. Like he's not. That guy is. Come on, it's Sam Houston State, brother. Like, but
It's not,
but
he spot the lie,
but
guys. Tell me he's lying.
once the eye in the sky does not lie. Okay, that was the first thing I learned when I started playing football and we started doing what they call film study. The eyes look, you can tell me what you did, but I'm gonna
Right.
see it on film. You can tell me what he said. You can tell me what happened. And when it clearly was shown on film what old boy did, and old boy put it on Instagram himself because he's also trying to keep up with that clout and get that 15. I don't blame that brother El Sam Houston State at all. Get your clout, my brother. So he
Right.
posted the picture of him standing over Arch.
Sure.
So it is totally
money.
justified. That's football, folks.
Mhm.
Let me tell you something. If you've never been on a football field, go to a high school game and really listen to what is being said on a field.
Watch what's
It is-
being done. Watch the taunting. Yeah.
This is a violent,
Oh yeah.
barbaric sport. Okay?
Barbaric is a great word. Mhm.
And there's energy that comes out of people. That's why the mic'd ups, they have to do so much editing on mic'd ups. Because anytime there's a loose mic, I'll never forget Matt Ryan, Monday Night Football, when he was screaming at Julio Jones and the mic picked it up for 3 seconds, and it was Matt Ryan went 3 F-bombs at Julio, and all it was Julio just wanted him to get over the tight end. That was all it was.
Yeah.
And he was literally crashing out on a future Hall of Famer Julio Jones.
Yeah.
Like the buttoned up Matt Ryan you see on TV, polished. That's how they talk. That's how they communicate. So I don't have a problem with it at all. My whole thing is this, and I've told this to Tran. I don't want to see so and so on Florida or so and so on Vanderbilt or so and so on Texas A&M step over you, and then you ain't got no words for them. That's where I have a red flag. That's the only thing that would make me concerned when it comes to Arch. As long as you're willing to pull up on whoever, it doesn't matter.
Amen. So I will say this.
D Money knows what it. Hey, D Money quoted it. It was get effing set.
Yep.
Y'all have good. He
I
quoted
missed
it.
that.
Yeah, it was the Matt Ryan.
I
Julio.
saw that comment too. I can't continue this discussion without just acknowledging first. I cringed really hard when I saw, not in that moment, and I'm gonna explain why. Not Arch. The Texas specific accounts that leaned into it more so and said like Arch aura. That was a little much for me. That was a little bit cringe.
It was
for
a
me.
little much.
I thought that was taking it a little too far because it is Sam Houston State. You don't flex that on your social media accounts to the world.
I agree with you.
Arch, the barbarian that Steven just mentioned, the competitor, the athlete that's on the field competing in the heat of the moment amidst anybody who's competed at a high enough level. Y'all know I'm self-dubbed sports below the surface, sports psychology dude. I'm always going to talk about this stuff. I'm going to try to convey the human element of sports to you guys because it's that important and not enough people talk about it or even not enough people talk about it. Even fewer understand it on a level that's enough to understand what Arch was doing. Okay. I don't care. Yes, that player started it. All right. That was Arch getting his lick back. Mm-hmm. But in that moment, in the heat of battle, that you get that adrenaline flow. There's a thing called tunnel vision that happens as a result of that norepinephrine dump, that it's just a chemical reaction in your brain that you can't control when you know that your brain senses danger, right? But it also processes anxiety and excitement the same exact way. So when you're prepared for something, that danger is a superpower because your body goes into superhuman mode and sometimes you're able to do things that you otherwise wouldn't do. For instance, I would never throw a pitch I just had a conversation with a kid that I'm taking a little bit of pride in sort of mentoring because I see he's a family friend, but I also see a lot of potential in him. And I just want to give back any way that I can.
Young athlete.
Young
that year?
athlete, yes, sir.
Okay.
I had this conversation with him last night about he was very fired up. He's a sophomore in high school to tell me that he hit 85 miles per hour on a off the mound at a showcase, a college showcase. And I told him, because I wanted to try to get him to understand how impressive that is, how impressed I was. I would never really throw a fastball in a bullpen more than, I would kind of hover in the 85 to 89-ish range. Every now and then I'd run one up there above 90. But it wasn't until in the heat of the battle that I would really step that up. And it's because of neuropsychology, baby. Norepinephrine. And you get that adrenaline release, and then I would, numbers would spike, right? But Arch is just, your brain doesn't know the difference in the heat of battle and in those moments that we love to just nitpick and blame Arch for, standing over a kid that it does not matter. They are both warriors on the same battlefield in that moment. And sometimes
look at the clip with him and Sark.
Right. Yeah.
On the sideline.
Another great example.
He crashed down on Sark. And it was clearly like he's on a whole he is out of body right now. But it that's sports. You're absolutely right. And that's why you have all these sports psychologists and people that are trying to help these athletes harness that, right? So that you can use your powers for good and have control over the situation and be measured when you need to be, but also show that emotion and say, yo, I'm sorry, I got to be violent right now. Yep. This is the game we play. It's either him or me,
That's it. And Steven, you made a great point. I want to just mention that one more time. Everybody's going to take, just like everybody gets up for Texas, every team wants to beat Texas because of the brand. Every player on that defense, any team that Arch sees or shares a field with on the defensive side of the ball is going to try to get some of Arch Manning.
This is a great, Stephen Houston. I agree with his comment here. All these teams will be coming for Arch.
Yes. Is that who said it earlier? I saw somebody.
Yeah, Steven. It was Stephen Houston at 8:37. Okay. He said,
"Yeah, good point. That's exactly right.
These teams are going to be coming for Arch. That's true. But
that's true.
In our preview video that I did with Tran, we filmed it last night, I think. But last night we were talking, and it's in the video when you guys go watch that preview. We kind of broached this, and then Tran appropriately was like, "Well, that's where Red Dot Arch needs to show up," and that's where the Red Dot Arch. Let's bring that guy back, right? Like the people over here, they're getting up for Texas. That's where the red dot approach needs to be. Hey, we already got the red dot on you, though, brother. So I know we kind of went away from the red dot stuff after Ohio State, but I mean, this kind of helps progress the conversation here too, right? Because I said this today on Bleacher Report, and I don't know if my piece is out yet on that platform. Maybe it is, maybe it isn't. But one of my points on Bleacher Report today was this is an opportunity for Texas to reintroduce themselves to the country, because we have not been front and center since Ohio State. And we were the first team to be front and center in the country, essentially, like if you really think about it, of a major game. We lost by a score. We played tough, lost to the defending champs on the road as dogs, but it was what it was. And Arch didn't play well. But that same day, later that afternoon, Alabama went to Tallahassee and got embarrassed.
Mm-hmm.
And they were not road dogs. They were double-digit road favorites. And people were having fire Kalen DeBoer conversations. People were talking about, should Ty Simpson move on and they play Keelan Russell? Is Ryan Williams a bust? What is going on? What's gone wrong in the program? We got too many boys on here on TikTok and not enough boys in the weight room.
Is Alabama dead? All those things.
Is that all that stuff? And then they got their opportunity. And I'm not saying, again, please listen to me, y'all. I'm not saying that Florida is Georgia. That is not my point. but it was the first time Alabama was really front and center. Because look, I'm sorry, we do not care about Wisconsin. They are ass. Okay, so they didn't count. I'm sorry. So you getting right? Wisconsin is no better than UTEP. After they got dog walked by Maryland, no, that's not a get right game. So the get right moment on the road was Georgia, and the Alabama team we saw show up in Georgia was a completely different, focused, locked in, ready to play football team compared to the Alabama team that we saw going to Tallahassee. So we just need to be mindful of Alabama really did. Think about how people are talking about Bama right now, present day. They've rebranded themselves already in 5 weeks of the season already. So Texas has time. That's my message. Texas has time. The red dot arch can come back. If he goes and just plays winning football against Florida. And my theme, what I got from Ty Simpson, I can't tell you what Ty Simpson's numbers were in the Alabama Georgia game, but 2 words really resonated with me when it came to Ty Simpson. Field general. That's what I want to see from Arch is command and looking like a leader and just being calm. His feet were calm. He was making, when the layup throw was there, he made the throw. He didn't hesitate. He talked trash when he needed to talk trash. He was with his guys, and he ran the team. When adversity struck, when they had fumbles, bad stuff's going to happen in the Florida game. It's going to be wet. Somebody's going to do something stupid. Okay? Yes. I'm just telling you. How do you respond? How do you lead your guys after that occurs? We saw Ty Simpson be consistent. Okay, turnover happened. No big deal. Let's run the next play. Right? That's the stuff we didn't see, that type of poise in Columbus offensively. So we want to see that moving forward. If we see that moving forward, not only will we feel better as Texas fans, but you'll start to see people jump back on the bandwagon. All of a sudden, people that have gotten off, people with big platforms that want to pick Florida and say that we the same team, all of a sudden the message, the tune will change real quick.
Yeah. That's right. Yeah. And I also, on that same note, just kind of putting a bow on the Arch discussion for me. If I may just make one special request. I don't got Steve Sarkisian on speed dial. I got some folks that I can go through a friend of a friend that can get to him. So maybe I'll do that. And I'll probably post another video. By the way, this is on behalf of Inside Texas. Any sort of Texas related work that you see me doing is in conjunction and on behalf of Inside Texas. In my opinion, the number one, aside from Stephen and Gotti here, the leading insider for all things.
I don't
Texas
count.
sports.
I'm not an insider.
Yeah, you don't count.
I'm a fan. I am not an insider. I am Inside Texas number one. I am not. I am an independent fan, brother.
Hey, it's just a hat tip. That's all it is. Because you're one of the first ones that got me here. But needless to say, you were a springboard, and that'll never be lost on me. But can we please, can I just see a QB power right? Just like set the tone, first snap of the game. And it sounds a little hyperbolic, especially given what we know of who Sark used to be with his philosophy of my quarterback don't run too much. Well, guess what, ladies and gentlemen? That tide has turned. It's changed. Just look at everybody that he's recruiting after the current quarterback that he has. Listen to the noise about Trey Owens right now. Why is he not getting, the what you call it, the end of the game reps?
He's QB4.
What do they call it? Garbage time.
Yeah. All the other quarterbacks played except for him that were on scholarship, unfortunately.
Yeah. So there you go. But listen, can I get I've already heard Sark say it in the presser. He was the one regret that he had after the Ohio State game. Should have got him going. Should have got him involved in the running game, using his legs. Just let him hit somebody. Let him feel contact a little bit sooner, and then he'll settle in. Look at the difference. Go watch some of the All-22 of the Sam Houston State game. Him turning down throws early on in that football game. But then you sort of see him. He takes a hit in the pocket. He runs over somebody in the end zone, and all of a sudden, red dot Arch shows up. Guys, do you think that's a coincidence? because I'm here to tell you that it's not. And I know that Steve Sarkisian has thought about that over the last week and change over the bye week. I've got to get my guy settled in. Can I please just see quarterback counter? Let me see quarterback QB power. I don't even care if it's a delayed quarterback draw. Y'all want to go 5 wide, spread them out, and then let Arch just find a zone and just
versus I'm
but
not a
set
big
the tone from the jump. Get the extra hat in the running game. And I once again, I'm not like I mean this wholeheartedly. If I was talking to Steve Sarkisian the way I'm talking to Steve and Gotti right now, I would tell this to his face, and I wouldn't tell him. I would humbly request it, because he clearly has a much better feel for his team and his thing than I do. But I mean, does anybody else in the chat feel that way? Is it just me?
I will say this, Landon. You have to do, and I'm with Dez. I don't prefer to run Arch like that. I prefer for Arch to be organic and get his legs. But here's the thing, and here's Landon is saying this based upon what we have learned of Arch, right? This wasn't our energy coming into the season, but coming into the season, we didn't know a whole lot about the player. He only started 2 games and he never started on the road. Now that we have more data and detail, I still don't like it, but it is necessary.
You don't have to live in that world. Just set the tone with the game that way.
It's setting the tone that way, but it's also this is what it's going to take right now in his development process and his journey. That's what has to get him going. And if that's what it takes to get him going in this part of his journey, so be it. Mm-hmm. Arch has to mature though. That can't be the way you play football the rest of your life is, well, I'm going to be accurate once I start running over a couple people. Eventually, you got to be an adult, and we're going to have to take the training wheels off. And if I ask you to throw a sail route the first play of the game, I need you to throw the sail route the first play of the game.
You saw it.
Okay?
He turned it down.
So
that's what I'm saying.
I'm just saying, he's young, so he can have that. Even as a third-year player, he's young in terms of on-field experience and reps. But that's not development if you don't start. Like, eventually I'm gonna need to see you come out there on the road and start 5 for 5.
Yeah.
And look like it without
especially with this opening script that you're gonna be gifted the benefit that you have of performing in a Steve Sarkisian system. Somebody mentioned it a second ago. I think I saw it in the comments, somebody talking about like Sark is going to scheme you 4 to 5 explosive plays. Like you're going to have layups.
And they're there.
Right. So, yeah. And that's part of what Sark loves so much about Quinn. And that's why we never saw the transition happen, even despite the fireworks that showed whenever Arch had to spell Quinn last year. But, you have to be able to see. Steve is saying pump the brakes on that for good reason, right? I'm saying set the tone, but he's saying you can't live in that world if you really want to see this team reach the ceiling of you have to operate within the structure of the offense too. But if that's
and that may be the way your way may be the way we live for conference play this year. I'm just saying,
right? That's exactly
for his career. Like I don't expect that to still be the case. Hopefully in December, right? Hopefully as we go forward, hopefully I can trust you. Like it's okay. I mean, it's okay right now because again, he's how many starts has he had? He's had 6 starts, right? He had 2 last year, and we've played 4 games so far.
This will be yeah.
So this is his 7th start coming up, right? So he's almost halfway through an actual football season as a starter. Like, this is now we got to start seeing some strides from Arch. The player has to. When I sat down with Caden Stearns many years ago,
I remember that. I watched every second of that project.
One of the things he said off camera was the players have to meet the coach halfway, and the coach has to meet the player halfway. If both people are putting 100% forward to meet at 50-50, everything will be fine. That was his. That was his true belief. Was I'm going to give you 100% effort, whether it's training, picking up the playbook, all that. But if I'm struggling with something or it's clearly whatever, you got to help me too, bro. You got to meet me 50-50. You can't just leave me out to dry too, because that happens. And that's kind of a big thing with Arch right now, and what we're talking about is we'll meet you halfway and give you some of those easy QB run things because that's probably how you got going to high school. That's probably how
Right.
you feel comfortable now. But I'm also asking you, hey, you got to have a better handle of your nerves and your overall temperament coming into the game as you get older, as you
Hmm.
get more comfortable. The timing does matter, and that's part of natural development. I shouldn't have to
The
run
natural
QB.
progression of the position. Yes.
Exactly. That's all that
Yes.
is. But
Yes.
we can move forward.
Sure thing. There's some good comments here, like moving forward with the offensive discussion. Stephen Houston has a good point. I think I haven't seen the discussion between he and Dez. I haven't been tracking that, so I'm not saying who's right or who's wrong. But this comment particularly here, the weapons were open for alley oops against Ohio State. We're fine with supporting cast. They may not be Xavier worthy, but they're good. So I'm gonna kind of brush past the first part of that because I wouldn't necessarily say alley oops, especially with Caleb Downs roaming in the 3 deep back there. It's like there were shots that were open, and I believe that's what you're alluding to. And everybody knows that what happened. There was a couple errant throws, right? It is what it is. Now, Texas wants Ryan Wingo to be their alpha dog number 1 wide receiver, right? I think it's in everybody's best interest if that is the case. Parker Livingston has been a pleasant surprise. Might get are we getting our boy Emmett back this game, or has that been
He's
confirmed?
expected to play. He's
Okay.
probable.
Yeah.
He's
I
been
haven't checked
practicing.
the updates on that, but that's good to know. Especially
Yeah.
for his his I like the size and the physicality that he plays with, but I also think that based on all the reports, come to Inside Texas and you can learn these things. And I clearly should have went to Inside Texas today to look at the depth or the injury report. So that's on me. But point being, there is no true alpha, like a guy that you can say, if I have to ask somebody to go win one-on-one, Matthew Golden is not on the field right now for Texas. Xavier Worthy is not on the field right now for Texas. Isaiah Bond is not on the field right now for Texas. So on. However, the supporting cast is plenty. At the receiver position, they have enough. And it's in large part due to what Steve Sarkisian is going to structure for them. There will be instances where we have to ask Ryan Wingo, hey, you got to go double move somebody. You got to go win this jump ball in the corner of the end zone. And I think that once again, much like Arch Manning getting into his coming of age, that will happen naturally. But the more that Arch is able to get on the same page with him and connect with him from the pocket, the more we're going to see Ryan Wingo operate from that realm, that spectrum that we're all kind of looking for, and that we're all kind of curious if we're ever going to see it this year from him. But I do think
I think it's a consistency thing with Ryan because he really
yeah,
impressed me in the Sam Houston State. That ball that he tracked on deep posts, that's regardless of opponent. If it's
that's
7-on-7, that's very difficult ball to properly track the way that he did. So we have to be mindful of the things that he is able to do. One of the things I do think that the play calling has been good. I agree with the people that are saying that there was stuff even open in the Ohio State game. There were beaters on film.
there were
Brooks Austin covered it. QB School covered it on the All 22. The look, it is what it is. But with Wingo, in particular, some of this stuff is also timing and route running and all this type of stuff. And some of you guys argue with me about route running and how important it is or not important it is, whatever. What I will say though is on the flip side, I watch a lot of college football.
Mm-hmm.
And when I watch certain teams, some of these kids are out here balling and they can't even run routes as good as Ryan. But they're able to play fast and do whatever they're asked to do and ball. So Eric McAllister of TCU, very similar skill set. I think Ryan has more natural ability than even Eric McAllister does. But I'm watching the guy take slants to the house like it's nobody's business. And it's like, hey, I know Steve has said, I don't want to play athlete ball. It's kind of cheap. Well, sometimes, damn it, I need you to play athlete ball because you're at Texas.
Mm-hmm.
And I know you don't want to dumb the kids down, but Marlon's not in here, but this is straight from Marlon, and I agree with it. One of the big fundamental differences between Steve and Kirby Smart is when Kirby Smart and them get jammed up,
Mm.
they actually prefer to play athlete ball. Kirby
So
Smart Kirby Smart just goes to, well, you know what? We're Georgia, damn it. We're better than you. We're just gonna freaking run the like the SEC championship game. Marlon said this. This is Marlon's point. He's like SEC championship game. We have an elite run defense. They have Gunnar Stockton in the game. They just start turning around, running the ball anyway. They don't care. We're Georgia. We are coming forward. Texas sometimes needs to have that type of mentality mixed in. I love what Sark is doing, and Sark is right most of the time. Most of the time, he is on the money. But there are certain games or certain scenarios where everyone's wondering, why isn't Aaron Butler on the field? Why isn't Khalid Lockett on the field? Why isn't Jimmy French on the field? All these guys are supreme athletes. Well, and then the excuse is always, well, they're not playing fast enough because we run an NFL offense. It's very precise.
yeah,
Sometimes it's like, I don't want you to necessarily dumb it down, but sometimes just give them something just easy you know they're going to do 100 miles an hour, right?
yes.
And they can execute.
Manufactured
Because
touches.
that confidence will go, it'll manufacture touches. Because Ryan looked like a completely different player once he caught that pass. Once he
Yes.
caught a couple balls,
It's a confidence booster, man. You gotta do it to feel it, and then to continue building off of it. Yeah. And okay. First of all, we got 290 people in here right now, so can we get everybody just to hit the like button? Because this is why you come here, for these sort of sports below the surface fanatic discussions, man. And Steven just brought up a great point. I don't want that to be lost on anybody. Ryan, on the Ryan Wingo topic, and what he's saying by dumb it down, like let's really, like, let's peel the onion back a little bit for a second on why that is. Why this was my message, Steven, after everybody was panicking at Ohio State, and then we saw Arch continue to struggle a little bit in week 2, right? Still looked a little shaky at times, right? My whole message was, it's never been more difficult for a quarterback to come of age than it is right now. Okay, and I'm going to try to stop the long-winded sidebar here and just
but a
break
lot
it
of
down.
people are saying, what, we have a quarterback development problem in college, right?
See? But okay, yes, but that is actually real. But there's a reason for that, and it's not just at the college level. We're seeing quarterbacks in the NFL. You see peaks, valleys, and then low plateaus, man, and then they sort of climb. It's because the evolution of football, the pendulum has now swung to where defenses have caught up with their personnel, with their hybridized athletes on the defensive side of the ball. It is now DCs, really good at their job, by the way. Smart, crafty coordinators have taken the chess match to the offense. Defenses are now finding the scrub on the offense. Defenses are now deploying linebackers that are 4-4 athletes. Defenses now are living in a nickel and sometimes a dime-based personnel package where there's 5 and 6 sometimes DBs on the field all at once. Edges like Colin Simmons and the like, the best in the country, can drop into spot zone coverage. So what is happening? Okay, just in its simplest form, hybridized defenses, crafty defensive coordinators, quarterback confusion out of this world, changing the post-snap picture. It is a drastic difference from what the quarterback sees or thinks that he's seeing pre-snap. That's why Cowboys fans should really appreciate Dak Prescott right now, but we're not going to go into that conversation just yet.
But hold on, let's go here, because I was thinking it. And
do it, say it, go.
A lot of these teams that have more of the older traditional type of quarterbacks, I know the Rams are assing it up right now, but normally the Rams kind of started doing what? Putting Stafford back under center and doing traditional drop back. Sarkisian, I think, was onto this, because think about how plugged in Steve is, especially with McVay. That's who he looks up to, him and Shanahan.
That's why I love your community, Steve, because they smart, man. These people get it. I love it.
It is, because the way that the guy that used to be the curl flat defender in 2020 is not the same curl flat defender in 2025. That dude, that guy probably plays offense back in the day.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
also look at some of these defensive coordinators, the Jesse Mintzers of the world. You saw this because so many people. I kept saying Steve Sarkisian caused some of this problem because they were flooding Ohio State 5 years ago in that
Mhm.
national championship game, and they continue to get Devontae Smith on
Yeah.
a linebacker trying to carry him up the field. Well, that Mac Jones just had to, you know what I'm saying? Like that was
Another day at the office.
y'all don't even got the right personnel on the field, bro, to deal
Yeah.
with us.
Yeah.
Nowadays, they've they have figured it all out. I mean, look at us. Look at our defense. Jelani McDonald can go and flip his hips and match up with somebody, but he can
Mhm.
also high point a ball with his 40-inch vertical.
Yes.
And that guy's on defense.
Mhm.
It's a different day.
Different day.
So now with these light boxes, yeah, you got to turn around and play with two tight ends. And if you can move people and run the football and even things out, that's why I like the way Ty Simpson was playing last week because it was kind of a throwback. He looked like a 90s, like a good quarterback in the 90s. You know what I mean? Like that would take his time, flip over, drop it off. Same thing with Dante Moore. Like Dante Moore and them, they weren't just coming out there five wide, you know, letting everything go, blah, blah, blah. Like it was, we're going to run the ball. I'm gonna read kind of where these people are, and then we're going to try to manipulate the defense to create these pockets of space to go with the football where we want to go. So it does. Adrian Martinez is in the game. I agree. Rolando McClain today would be an edge. Rolando McClain today would be an edge because at most when he played at Bama, the Reuben Fosters of the world, all of those guys, they were asked to maybe carry a big tight end. Like that was the most athletic guy that they would see. But when the Sean Paytons come in the world and they have a Marquise Colson at 6'4" playing slot receiver, and you have, Gronkowski and Hernandez and all these dudes, all these weird pieces that started attacking defenses, people have to adjust. And today, I mean, look at the tight ends we have today. Look at the tight ends in the NFL right now. It's insane. Like it used to be like Antonio Gates, Tony Gonzalez, Jason Witten, and then it was like a drop off. Like honestly, it used to be like you had maybe. That's why for the longest time Travis Kelce would go in the first round of fantasy football drafts because it was like it was like him, Delanie Walker. Uh, like you didn't have dudes that could run the whole route tree and flex out and do all this stuff and run around on a corner. Now everybody got a tight end like that. Like, so the defense has to. Mike Tomlin's classic saying, you need to look like what you hunt." So all of a sudden,
Yeah!
you need to look like what you hunt. All of a sudden, you got, people like DeMarvion Overshown out here who is 6'3", 6'4", and can run. The Micah Parsons of the world that can run, and it changes the geometry on the field. Quite frankly, it really does. So it's always going to be a chess match.
I just realized I was muted this whole time. I was trying to get a couple thoughts in there, but
All
yeah,
good.
It seems like the chat understands that, and I love to see that both of our communities, man, they're sharp, and so it's just cool to see that's starting to become more understood, right? Defenses have caught up to the modern spread, right? And so now that's why one of the reasons why it was me, my guy Lose Takes, and Voch Lombardi, who were one of the few who, I think the only three that I really saw like perpetually going to war for offensive line at 12 this year in the draft. And it was just because, right, what Steve, the conversation that we just had, that pendulum has swung now back in favor of physicality from the offensive perspective. So they are now trying to outpower and people move these hybridized edges and linebackers and safeties, right? The lighter bodies. you hammer them downhill now. And so you're going to see like the Rolando McClains of the world are going to come back. Like you're going to start seeing guys that are 255, 260 playing Mike Backer. You know, you're going to start seeing edges be 280 again all over the place, you know, and it's just the constant, it's the beautiful thing of this game where the evolution is constantly evolving. Right. And so it's a constant chess match of adapt or die. And like Steve mentioned, I think he said it perfectly. That's a great analogy to really understand like just remove the granular level jargon and just say, think about predator and prey. Look like what you hunt. And
Yep,
that's exactly what we're dealing with now. Yeah.
It's well so said, true. It's so true though, man. I mean, I grew up in an era watching Ray Lewis and Bullware and Tony Saragusa. They were playing behind these. They used to have these. Tony Saragusa couldn't even be on a football field today. No disrespect. But he was just there to be like a space eater, so that Ray Lewis and them and Bullware could just fly like maniacs, right? But like there was no lateral movement. He was just a gut.
He was a plug. Anchor the middle, occupy blocks, don't move. Yeah,
don't move.
And that's why
today that's Tavondre Sweat. Today that's Dexter Lawrence. Did you see Dexter Lawrence pick off a pass and run 50? Like they are not the same.
No, no, not at all. And man, like that's why people are so mad at Mozzie Smith. I hate to keep throwing in Cowboys analogies, but like we have so much overlap between our two communities, man. So I know it resonates well and it lands, but Mozzie Smith was a two-gapping anchor piece, kind of like Tony Siragusa was in college under, you know, that Wink Martindale system at Michigan, man. He was not penetrating. He was not trying to go get after quarterbacks. You know, he was a 330-pound anchor.
Bro brought up when Tony Siragusa fell on Rich Gannon's shoulder and broke it.
He broke it. Oh my!
Steven, y'all have some good memories. Did he? He used to be doing sideline. I thought he was doing sideline stuff for. Am I tripping?
No, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, so he was 6'3", 340. By the way, that's just a man. That's a unit. That's a unit.
Oh, he did die.
I think he passed
3 years ago.
Yeah. Rest in peace, Tony Siragusa. Yeah.
Yeah, he used
that was a big deal.
Oh shit! I did not know. Man, I feel bad now. I mean, not that I was making fun of Star.
But hey,
I was talking about him in reverence. He was a champion.
Yeah. No, it's an ode to him. Rest in peace.
Damn. But you guys get the point, right? Like, damn, I did not know he's hanging with Elvis. Des Garrett. See, Des Garrett's been with me for like 6-7 years now, and this is the type of he knows how to press. He knows how to press the right button. He knew that would be Des Garrett. Oh man.
I love when you can keep a situation like that lighthearted though, because I mean, let's be real. Most people don't really know how to handle death in general, and it's a uncomfortable conversation, and a lot of times. And so, but yeah, if you can apply. But
Tony was a funny guy.
He was.
He was a fun. Even on TV, if you never saw him play, you saw him only on TV growing up as a commentator. He was a funny. He was always like eating pizza with the mascot, or like making fun of himself. Like he's always good spirit.
Self-deprecation, good-spirited guy. There's no question about that. That they did that special, by the way, with that whole group, and it was Ray, it was Tony, and it was just everybody, all the members of the, what year was that?
2000 Ravens.
Yeah, 2000 2001 Ravens defense, and he was up there with that crew, and it was cool to just listen to all their banter, man. But yeah,
I mean, those
he definitely
guys
enjoyed life. That's a good way to say it, Drew. He definitely did that. So okay, let's we're pushing an hour and 10 minutes here. I want to
what else do you want to hit on?
That's it. I mean, I'm going with the flow of the chat. Like I want chat to obviously hopefully learn something, but enjoy themselves first and foremost, right? So, and I think everybody's done that. They've been incredibly engaging. It's been a lot of fun just having kind of just an open-ended discussion. But is there anything that I know there's a couple things that I would like to just briefly touch on here, just with specific to the Texas matchup with Florida. And by the way, you guys will be able to see me on the pregame show on Saturday Inside Texas YouTube channel, so you can catch me there as well. And so it's another fun discussion that kind of it's a little bit more in depth on all that stuff.
I got a question. Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but
no, please do. This is what I'm here for. Yeah.
Chat, Landon, why is the line on this game all of a sudden?
I haven't even looked at it.
Okay, so before we got on air,
I don't like to know if that helps.
We probably buried the lead, honestly, because to me it's a big deal. To me, it's a big deal. Y'all tell me what you think. Why the hell is the line 4.5 and it was 7.5 this morning? Why did it drop 3 points? That is significant. The line jump. That's like a quarterback is out type of jump. Like Brock Purdy was out. I think the Niners Rams line opened at like 5.5, and then when Brock Purdy went out, it went to like 8.5 or 9 or something like that. Why? What? And I understand. I think it is the weather. I think you guys are right. I've been talking.
That's all I was going to guess. I don't have another idea for what.
Because I heard on Tuesday practice, Kobe Black and Manny Muhammad both got injured, but one's questionable and one's probable. So I'm like, that even if Vegas got wind of that, that's not enough to move a line 3 points. Not that. But then, you hear about, okay, it's 30-mile-an-hour winds at kickoff potentially, very rain-induced. My question to the chat is this, because I have not tracked this. If the line changed, did the over-under change as well?
Usually it does.
When the over-under number, I have not checked it. So somebody please, because if that number also dropped significantly, then it would make sense. But if that number doesn't change, hopefully y'all understand what I'm saying. If the over and under number didn't change, but the spread changed, I have a concern. What do they know? Now, if both numbers dropped, you can explain that to me. That makes more sense because we won't play with as much margin if, there's less points to be scored. Sloppy game. Vegas is accounting for that. But, okay. Thank you, Stephen Houston. Can somebody else confirm that? I know, okay, Stephen, you're normally on the money.
I have that. I have that as well. It's it has
gone from 53 to 42. Okay, so then it's weather related. Okay. I just wanted to make sure.
So let me just double check. I want to make sure I'm also accurate here.
Because 3 points is a massive change in one day with no injuries or no new injury. So if it's weather related and the over under flip too, okay, so that makes sense.
So I see that the point total dropped, but I'm still seeing Texas as a 6.5 point favorite.
Oh, it's 4.5 now. I say that because I went and put money on 4.5 earlier today. It went down.
That's one book that has it 6.5 still.
Depending on the book, of course. Good point.
Well, who do you use?
I still use BUSR.
Oh, you do? Okay, cool.
Just because that's already where my account was, but
yeah,
I'm just interested to see 5.5 FanDuel. Now the where I saw the announcement made, to your point, Landon, was DraftKings.
Okay,
that's where I initially saw the 4.5 was on DraftKings.
Let me just see what ESPN shows, because it's usually just Vegas that they reflect. Because I'm definitely interested. Oh. I hope people understand how massive of a jump that a 3-point swing.
That's what my phone started blowing up, dude. They're like, what? They're like, Steve, is Arch not playing? Like, what's going on? It's like,
ESPN.
what?
ESPN has it at 4.5. So you're right.
And 42.5 over under.
42.5. That's the total.
And okay, so then they're accounting for terrible weather.
They're expecting,
Like,
yeah. Now let's check the forecast real quick. Let's see if we can get that confirmed as well. Why not? While we're all here.
yeah, somebody was telling me, Mark Vasquez, I'm doing well, brother. Thank you for asking. Um,
Okay, so
I
let's talk about. I mean, Vegas clearly thinks that it doesn't favor Texas as much as it favors Florida. Um, and with the respect that I have for Jaden Ball, I actually maybe wouldn't. I would be inclined to agree that I think that does close the gap just a little bit. I think they have, based on their personnel, a little bit more explosivity on the ground, slightly. Now, Texas gets Trey Wisener back, but it looks like CJ Baxter is doubtful.
correct.
So that means that Jarrett Gibson is going to be thrust. And I'm just going to say it here. I try to be careful about certain things that I say, especially when I'm in a position and I have met with some of these. And I know you have a similar discussion or similar discussions behind the scenes too, Steve, where we have connections and shake hands and say things to these players, these young kids, families, right? Their families talk to us from time to time, right? And we
They're
have
here
these.
in the chat. Yeah. Yes.
So Jarrett Gibson is a very good football player with a fumbling problem.
Yeah.
And that's all that I'm going to say. If he can stop fumbling, people are going to start.
He could be the starting running back.
We're going to start doing that. Like,
Yeah,
hold
he
up.
could be this. That's all it is. And look, there's nothing.
I've always thought that.
There's no look. One thing that I've lived on, and yes, I've had people. At times, I've been doing this a long time now, and I've had people get upset. I've also had people say thank you for saying what you said that are family members or
Likewise. Yep.
or a former player or current player. I've always said what I'm talking about is about ball. We're talking about ball.
That's
and
it.
I'm not gonna blow you, assassinate your character or whatever. I can say I'm upset or disappointed in your performance because I know what you're capable of. I think that's fair to say, and I will never say anything on here that I would not say to that person's face.
Correct.
Especially one of our players. I really really do care, and the best example I ever will have of that is BJ Foster and his family. When he walked off the field, and I made a whole video about that, and I just want to say his mom Yolanda and that whole family, they were first class about it, and till this day still communicate with those people because they were good people, and it was an emotional situation that got out of hand. And it's important to remember the human side of it. Meeting with
the
Caden
human
Stearns
element of sport.
and his mom. His mom came to the thing, and they're real people. They're all so I don't like. But it's also like, bro, if you playing like trash, I gotta say it, bro. I'm gonna tell you, like, bro, what's going on?
Yeah.
Is your girl in your head or something? Like, what's going on? Let me know. How can we help you? You know, like, I'm saying this out of love, but I also got to be honest on my platform.
We got to be objective.
I'm not gonna,
the fans deserve the truth. That's it. We're not doing
like,
our job.
Never,
if convey otherwise.
People over here talking about a few years ago, you're being too harsh on Quinn, blah blah blah. No, I always talked about Quinn relative to his performance. I know he's a good kid. I know, like, there's no, so you don't have to. We don't have to, and even on other people's teams, like, I'm like, that's somebody who I would want in my program if we could get him, so. Jonte Cook, how he handled that situation, like, nah, these are human beings. There's people going through things that people in the real world have no idea that they're going through. Everybody thinks everything's sweet now with NIL, and NIL presents wonderful opportunities, and some of these guys have been able to do some really really cool things, but I mean, you still got life. We all have life stuff going on. I got life stuff going on, when I walk out this room and got to go deal with stuff. So we just be mindful of that.
Hmm.
But I did want to touch on, going back to the Florida thing with
Yes.
Jaden Ball handling the football and stuff like that. This is, it is fair to be skeptical of ball security until we see it improve. It's the same thing we talked about in our Jaden Blue video yesterday. If y'all didn't go see the Jaden Blue video, go check that video. I watched it today. It was a really good conversation me and you had regarding the
Yep.
Cowboys.
I agree. Good
But
stuff.
it's why we made how applicable is that our conversation about Jaden Blue yesterday
Very.
when I said what sometimes waiting doesn't matter because we need you now.
You said ready.
Sometimes
You said ready is relative.
ready is relative, and so if we're in a game and we need multiple carries, well, you know what, James Simon, you're gonna have to play. I don't
Yeah.
whether you're ready or not. I need you to carry the ball. Jared Gibson, whether you're ready or not, I need you to carry the ball. Ready is relative until
Arch
you
Manning
start
might have
losing
to carry.
people.
Arch might have to do the same thing. His carry total might have just gone up as well. And I think this plays more into it gives more credence to my request, my one simple request to Arch or to Sark. Hey man, get this guy involved. First play of the game. Let's go QB power, and then let's start the script from there. But anyway, I digress.
Sandusky, I'm sorry for your loss, man. I didn't know that. I'm sorry for your loss. I know that was a emotional time, both good and bad, during that period for you. And to answer your earlier question, I have not been to Columbus, Ohio. I do need to go. My older brother lives in Columbus with his kids, but we've always met up in D.C. I've never actually been out there to his house. But I am sorry for your loss. Losing a sibling, I couldn't imagine,
Mhm.
especially during that period of time, man.
Uh, I'll keep you and your family in my prayers tonight, man. Well,
And
for the foreseeable
he's
future, I'm gonna
always
write that
commenting
down.
consistently.
Yeah, yeah, Sandusky, prayers out to you, brother. I know it's we don't have to go off on another faith-based tangent, but one thing that I firmly believe, I think it's the best way to go through life. It's the only way that I know how to go through life, is that uh, truly everything happens for a reason. And there's a silver lining in everything, and so it's difficult in the moment to see what the good Lord is trying to do for you or to teach you. But I know that you're a stronger man now. If nothing else, you're a stronger man now as a result of what you walked through with you and your sister, man. So I'm gonna write your name down, and I'm gonna definitely keep you in my thoughts and prayers, brother. But thank you for being here tonight, Sandusky.
And
And
I
by
will
the
let
way,
you know whenever I do plan on, because that has to be a planned trip. I ain't just coming up to Columbus on a whim. I will let you know if you are up that way so we can connect.
I have nothing but great things to rave reviews say for what it's worth, Sandusky, about the way that your fan base treated me and my at the time 7.5 months pregnant wife. Hostile environment, and we even had to be relocated directly above the student section because she was having some issue. We were kind of tucked away in the tunnel, and she was having some issues breathing, and it was just like there wasn't a ton of oxygen and airflow in there. And so not only was the fan base incredibly respectful, I have like at least one handful, probably two, closer to two accounts where individuals throughout various different moments of our time there coming up to us and just genuinely asking, "Hey, how's your experience? Has the fan base been good to you?" And then just genuinely asking, like, what is our thoughts on their atmosphere, their stadium, their tradition, all those things. Just fantastic conversations. But the accommodation from the stadium staff and guest services getting us taken care of because of our specific situation, even albeit wearing the wrong colors in that stadium, right? Nothing but the best and most rave reviews about it. Was just pure blue blood class from my interactions in person, but then the atmosphere and the environment, the energy as a whole was pure passion. But it was a fun trip, man. So I know you guys are proud of that, and you should be.
I want to make a comment and then I have a question for you, Landa.
Yes, sir.
Um, so first, my comment is going back to Stephen Houston's when we were talking about the quarterback development problem. I was laughing while you were talking because Stephen Houston said, and it is true. It's true. A lot of these kids, i.e., Dylan Rayola, trying to be doing Mahomes
Mahomes.
cosplay
Yeah. Oh yeah.
and having horrible fundamentals, and y'all, you don't have the facilities for that big man. You don't have the abilities for that big, and it reminds me of Steph Curry in basketball, where it's like, yes, we know, you guys are encouraged to take more threes. You want to be, more versatile outside shooters. I get all that, but big men, you've lost the ability to post up and understand how to score in basketball 5 different ways because you're so obsessed with trying to be Steph. And I think Mahomes' influence, to Stephen Houston's point, has been has been something that has influenced young quarterbacks. I think it's influenced Arch a little bit with the sidearm stuff. And so a lot of people want to be like Mahomes and mimic it. And you should want to mimic good habits from all time greats. I'm not saying that you shouldn't, but some of those things are unorthodox for a reason. And that's one thing. My question for you though is, what is your prediction? Because my prediction coming into the game was 27-17 Texas. And the reason why and so I'm like, okay, I got Texas covering. I think we're gonna have to go through some adversity in the first half. I think there's gonna be some things that may go wrong. I don't know what, just a feeling I have. And then I think we're gonna really come out and be really sharp in the second half and physically take over the football game and really make Florida tap. I expect Florida to come out. Mark Vasquez is here. I expect Florida to come out all hands on deck. I expect Florida to be desperate. To Landon's point, there's a top 10 team coming into their house. Their last 2 games have essentially been on the road with Miami and LSU. They're coming back home now. And the last time they were at home was that embarrassing loss to South Florida. So they're really, really, really going to be, I expect, like you said, kitchen sink type stuff. I really do.
Yep.
And the other thing is this. Some of you that have talked about, are they kids tapped? Some of that you got to force. And what I mean by that is go see Notre Dame at Arkansas last week. That's how you make an opponent tap at home, because they turned the whole crowd against Arkansas to the point where they were booing them in the second quarter. And you knew Sam Pittman was cooked because Notre Dame was surgically efficient offensively to where Arkansas couldn't do nothing with it, right?
No answer.
I don't expect us to have that type of performance. However, Notre Dame was only favored by 4 going into that game. They ended up winning 56-14. Sam Pittman got fired. Clearly, the team quit. So, could Florida quit in this game? Is that a possibility? Is that somewhere in the multiverse? Sure. But there's another part in the multiverse where you're all of a sudden in a dogfight with some kids that are also trying to show, hey, this is why I need to be playing. This is why I need to be on the field, coach. This is why this is how we could potentially save this season, is by beating this team here and then going and taking the energy to A&M the next week. So we got to be careful with that. So I'm kind of accounting for that in my score. But ultimately, Texas is the better team. Texas is the better coached team. Texas has the better defense. Texas is the healthier team. And Texas should handle their business. I have not seen Steve Sarkisian lose to a team like this since his first season at Texas. Since he basically, second year onward, we don't really get upset. We've lost, but typically we're losing to the Georgias, the Ohio States, and the one year we lost to Kalen DeBoer and we lost to OU when they were Dylan Gabriel and 10 wins. Who else? Show me another example of the last 3 years where we've lost to an opponent like this. We've had some what are we doing type games. We've had some they didn't look good, but they always won. So that's why I still have a lot of faith and confidence coming out of this game based on Sark's track record.
It's hard to dispute anything that you just said, but I'm going to say it in a different way, if I may. I hate doing predictions. I usually elect not to, but because of how much that I love you, Steve, I'm going to do it today.
You don't have to give a score prediction if you don't want to. You don't have
Okay.
to. I was just curious. I was just curious. You
Well,
don't have
so
to. Do
here's
whatever
where
you
I'm
want
at.
to do.
Here's where I'm at.
Oh,
I'm gonna
we've had some
preface.
close calls though. I see you. You see HOF like, you've had some close calls. Yes, we have. But we won the game. That's the point.
Yep. Did you
But
win
we
it?
have.
So here's where I'm at right here. I'll preface my statement with this. Losing Caleb Banks is a bigger deal for Florida than gaining Dallas Wilson, especially now that weather is a factor. Okay. Not enough people think about Cole Brevard, Marad Watson, Hero Canoe, Alex January, and company in the same light, in the same way that they thought about Tavondre Sweat and Byron Murphy, the same way that they thought about Alfred Collins and Vernon Broughton, the same way that they thought about and talked about Keandre Coburn and Moro Ojimo, and I know I'm forgetting a couple. You better start respecting and enjoying and appreciating that group, that defensive tackle, that interior defensive line group for this current iteration of the Texas football program, because they are that serious. And then behind them, we just talked about how the third best backer is going to have a chance to be a day one or a day two draft pick when it's all said and done next year in Ty Anthony Smith. Furthermore, we already know, we have seen teams like Florida be almost inept throwing the football down the field. Very, let's just say, anemic relative to their expectation, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they have been one-dimensional as a result of that. And when the weather is fine and you become one-dimensional and you still can't, I mean, you're not winning a muck it up game. Even when they had the chance to lean on Jaden Ball, which is what they've had to try and do, they haven't been able to do it, guys. So you're not just going to bully this Texas front. And if that's what people think, if that's what Vegas is suggesting or assuming with this 3-point massive jump, this swing in favor of Florida closing the gap, maybe it's just a turnover thing that I'm failing to give that enough credit for. If that's what it is, then okay. But Florida, another thing, right? Yes, we haven't seen Texas have any explosivity with their run game. We haven't seen Texas be the dominant run team that we expected or hoped that we would see. We've seen some struggles.
Run over 20 yards yet?
Nah, I don't think so.
You keep talking. I'll look that up real quick.
Florida wants to play too high. They want to be a zone team. They want to try to stop. They want to play a 4-man front and they want to try to stop the run with a light box so they can add numbers. So it's a communication thing. It's a big adjustment for them if they have to play that style. They have two young and inexperienced linebackers on their second level. All right. And I was already going to have, this is going to be a major talking point for me, because whenever you got to play power football, and it's exactly what Texas is going to do, by the way, you're going to see outside zone go away much more so than what we have seen, right? It's those outside zone numbers. It was a lot of trial and error. Okay. They're trying to figure out what they're good at. That stuff's going to drop. Okay. You're going to this Texas front. They're going to trap. They're going to counter. They're going to power. They're going to gap run scheme their way to hopefully the SEC championship game and then beyond. But the way that you put young and inexperienced linebackers in a bind, it's one thing when you have to make them decisive whenever you have pulling linemen coming downhill right at them, which is what's going to happen on Saturday. Mm-hmm. You force them into very quick but very physical decisions, gap responsibility when you've got H-backs, you've got fullbacks, you've got tight ends pulling, creating extra gaps. They've already shown a propensity to get exposed in that regard. All right. That's what Miami did to him. Now, Texas doesn't have the same offensive line as Miami did, but that's not the point. The point is Texas was experimenting with lots of different tight ends, lots of different formations, lots of different heavy personnel and condensed sets. Why? Power football. We already had this discussion earlier because football has evolved. So when you already have linebackers who are a little bit inexperienced, a little bit young, their understanding and the way that they process, see it, hit it, and fill downhill. The way that you make that even more complicated for the second level, especially now, once again, it's very important. That's why I highlighted at the bottom of your screen here. Losing Caleb Banks is a bigger deal than gaining Dallas Wilson for their offense. You create extra gaps, you make linebackers' lives even harder. And that's what Texas is going to do with Steve Sarkisian. And that's why I think it plays perfectly. Why Jarrett Gibson is Trey Wisner is going to be by the book. He's gonna get what's blocked up for him. But Jarrett Gibson has the same kind of vision, the same kind of understanding of how to set up his blocks and how to just sort of be patient enough to allow a pulling guard to hit the hole fast enough, and he can get skinny, but he keeps that low center of gravity. That pad level, man, is just he plays with great geometry, right? I heard you made that comment earlier about changing the geometry as far as player to player, but the physics of Jarrett Gibson are part of what make him why I like him so much. The pad level is going to win, but the vision is going to get him there first. And Texas is going to put Florida in a lot of compromised situations with their linebackers, and that's going to be a difference in this game. It's not so much people have questions about Texas's offensive line, but people haven't seen Texas lean into what they're good at yet. That's why you have those questions. That stuff is going to go away. That's part of the chess match of SEC conference play.
They're going to play the hits.
That with creating extra gaps with more tight ends, mixing the formation on the line of scrimmage. And I promise you,
I just need my tight ends. See, that's why I need Marlon knows what I'm about to say. I wish you were here tonight, brother. I'm gonna have to text you and see where you were. But Nick Towson, some of my NBA young boy heads in there. Nick Towson being one of them. He's going to be in there to hit people.
Mm-hmm.
Jordan Washington, I need you to be physical, brother, so you can play more. I know you can catch the ball. You started catching the ball last week, but I need you to – if you're going to be soft at the point of attack, then sit down. Because this is, to your point, this is the game where we need the tight ends to be getting upfield and getting after people and getting physical, getting violent.
Yes, sir.
And they'll be very productive. There's no doubt about it.
And guess what? That plays into the strength, by the way, of Texas's – like the skill set of their offensive line. Like they are a power group, maybe not the best pass protecting group, but they're and then it's actually kind of weird. They've been better, but once again, experimentation, right? And that's all I'm going to say. They're trying to figure things out. They're trying to see, because Steve Sarkisian is a believer of the more things that you do better, the more difficult that you are to defend.
Right.
Well,
and he
guess
spent
what?
G5
All that stuff,
experimenting. He did.
Correct.
And making them do things that are not comfortable, like they talked about. They were making Wingo run deep post when typically Parker Livingston is the one that runs deep post and Wingo runs the crosser. So they flipped it because they both prefer to do the other way. I'm with it. I hear you. These next 2 weeks are going to tell us everything we need to know. That's where I'm at. I think going on the road and then playing, obviously, an emotional big-time game in Dallas, like these two games back-to-back will tell us what we need to know in terms of the mentality of the entire football team. I think I know where the defense stands. I still feel pretty good about it.
Yeah, you should.
But the offense, so the explosive runs, the running backs, Cedric Baxter has the longest run of a running back out of the room this year at 18 yards.
Yeah.
That is a concern.
It's not good enough.
That's not good enough. Considering the competition we just got finished playing, our three longest runs are non-running backs. It's Matthew Caldwell.
Jarrett Gibson. I'm sorry, not Jarrett Gibson.
No, Ryan Wingo.
Right. Yeah. Oh,
had
Wingo.
a 32-yard run. Matthew Caldwell had a 50-yard run. Wingo had a 32-yard run, and then Arch at 20.
I didn't know if I guess that was technically a forward pass to Niblett on that one up the sideline last week. I didn't know if that was technically ruled like a lateral or something like that. But Yeah, Ryan Wingo definitely. I forgot about that one.
Yeah, Ryan Niblitz was ruled a 39-yard catch.
Okay. Yeah.
That's not a run. But
Yep.
when we say run, we're talking about in the traditional sense, right? Because this is the first year under Sark. I think this is also what's a little bit of, something that it's been uncomfortable for us, at least for me as a Texas fan. This is the
Sure.
first year under Sark where we have not been explosive in the run game. Every year under Sark, we've had a guy that can pop 20-yard run, no problem.
About to say, you'd love
Think
to have
about
some
it.
Jadon Blue on your roster right now.
With Jadon Blue, he inherited
Bijan,
Jonathan Brooks. He inherited Bijan.
Yep.
I
Yep.
mean, all those guys could pop, right? Now Wisner did pop big runs last year. He's only played one game, to be fair.
Yeah.
But it is a little concerning that the young boys, out of all three of them, they're not running poorly. Jared Gibson hasn't run poorly. Christian Clark, I didn't like the way he ran the first game he played. I like the way he ran better the last two games. But it is concerning that none of them have been able to pop anything. Like, I think I was talking to you about this with the Falcons game. Maybe it was Tran. Maybe I'm getting my conversations mixed up. But
you probably are. You've had a lot of them these last couple of days. So maybe.
Bijan scored a touchdown this week, and I know it's Bijan. So maybe I'm already wrong just saying starting there because there's only one Bijan.
Rarefied air there. Yeah. Yeah.
I watched the man score a touchdown up the gap, bro, with no blocking this week against Washington from like 15 yards away. Did anybody else see this? Where the guy in the A-gap didn't even block. And he shook Cuz at the line of scrimmage, hit somebody else with a shimmy, and all of a sudden is in the end zone. That's the type of stuff I'm talking about. It's like, I'm not saying that you need to make it happen every time, but there's plays like Jadon Blue in the Michigan game when he caught the swing pass and one of the corners is coming downhill and he just hit him with the cookies and it's another 40 yards. Where's that? That's what we're talking about, right? And because some of the people that have hit me said, Steve, we got a lot of good. They're doing what they're supposed to be doing. They're hitting the right hole. James Simon, blah blah blah. But for my brothers out there, they're like, Steve, these are some swaggerless runners.
We got to break. We have to break more tackles. Whether it's just like the contact balance.
Where's the wiggle?
The
contact balance. Yeah.
That's where I'm at with it. And I mean, it's great to have a guy that can pop, get through the line of scrimmage and it makes one man miss and it's house call. That's great. But you don't have to have game breaking speed to generate explosive runs. All I need you to do is break one tackle and get yak,
There's opportunity for explosive runs, even though they're not all explosive runners. Trey Wisner is proof of this. Yeah, he's not the most explosive
That's why I just
runner.
said you're going to see his fresh legs on Saturday.
Yeah, but there's opportunity. Like the run that look, a lot of people got upset at Ian Boyd in the film session. Him and Paul when they did the one about Cedric Baxter running through the hole versus UTEP. But damn it, they were right. Look, not everybody likes to hear the truth, but the boy got tackled by a G5 safety, and Ian said in the video, half the time they look surprised that there's a safety there. like when they've gotten through the hole. It's like that's a good example of like you got one guy to beat.
Make one man.
That's where I need you to be special.
That's it. Yes.
And yes, there's no Bijan in the room. That's not my point.
It's about explosives.
Yeah. There's no Bijan in the room. That's not my point though. I'm just saying that's an example of what I'm talking about when it's all the way there. Right. But I challenge it. This is my challenge to I think Jared Gibson can be one of those guys. I'm challenging them to be those explosive, to be more explosive. That's all we're saying. Yep. And to be more difficult to take down while still protecting the football. Because they go hand in hand. Yep. Realistically, for us, Mark Vasquez, I'm going to answer this question because that's a good question. It's better than not having any running back over 20 yards on a rush in 4 games. That's essentially a month. Being explosive to me is what Trey Wisner was able to do when he got some of those opportunities and was able to make a couple guys miss last year and was able to make a house call versus Oklahoma and Dallas.
Yes.
He's not an explosive runner, but he looked explosive in Dallas, or some of the big chunk runs that he was able to pull off versus A&M when the opportunity and the spacing was there. That's explosive to me. 20-plus yard runs, exactly, H-Post. We do not have any 20-plus yard runs with our running backs this year. That needs to change. That's an explosive run.
Yep, I agree. I definitely agree. And, the numbers reflect that, right? Prior to Sam Houston State, Texas was I think they were the 129th ranked explosive rushing offense in the country. And it's not good enough. And part of that is having that creative ability beyond what is technically blocked up, but also some of that too. And I'll keep saying it. It's because I believe firmly in it. And I think it's obviously true. And we're going to know for a fact on Saturday if it's correct, but I'm pretty confident saying that it is. Steve Sarkisian wasn't necessarily leaning into what he already knew his team was good at. And that's worth keeping, or that's worth consideration. So it's real life. It's the reality of it. So we're going to see.
Well, one last thing before we wrap up, because I got to run here.
Same here. Likewise.
The perimeter blocking is the same thing with screen game.
Yes.
You also need some of those chunk runs. Like we've seen it now in the Cowboys. Javonte Williams break one. Like guys that aren't known as explosive. Miles Sanders broke one. The play that Miles Sanders broke that big run against the Philadelphia Eagles in the first game of the year, it was Terrence Steele coming from right tackle.
Yes.
And clearing the way on the other side of the field. We also need to have people doing the extracurriculars. That's why I mess with Nick Towson. Because I need more people like that on the field that are going to go and get somebody else after the double team. Steve.
That right there.
Wide receiver, yes.
That's it. Offensive linemen block first downs, wide receivers block touchdowns. Amen. I mean, that's I don't know why I just said amen to myself, but
hopefully pat him on back.
Hold on.
All right, yeah, get him the hell out of here.
Get him out of here, man. I'm sorry.
Get him out of here. Throw him out.
Take a drink on that one. Take a sip.
Oh, man. Nah, it was a good show. Thanks for having me on, bro.
Fun show, dude. Great stuff.
The Lorenzo Joe blocking. That is, Drew. Daps.
Unreal name drop right there.
Lorenzo Joe. He's a coach now.
Yeah. So remember Brennan Marion. We'll do another name drop here, and then we'll wrap. Brennan Marion. I'll never forget what he said. What you do without the football determines how much you love your teammates.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why I've spent so much time allocating my time and energy and my content production towards that same element, because I know how important physicality is on offense, and I know how important receivers are towards maximizing that physicality on offense so that guys like Javonte Williams can go and generate explosive runs. So I've been literally tracking every single game and sort of trying to do the best that I can to highlight respectfully what I'm seeing. And let's just say after week 1 in Philly, the receivers, and it's not just George Pickens, CeeDee Lamb was included. The title of the thumbnail was loafing. The guys just not loving their teammates without the football, But every single week, it's gotten progressively better. And that last week, we saw George Pickens bullying people on the perimeter again, not catching the football. I mean, literally in run block.
He was,
situation.
And that's something he was kind of known for at Georgia. That's how he used to get in fights. It wasn't even in pass pro. He used to just throw people down. I appreciate it, fellas. Thank you, Hall of Fame College Football. Appreciate you. Thank you, Stephen Houston, as always, making salient points. Drew Yanez, D Money can't get money. Hey man, we ain't for everybody, but we for somebody.
Yeah. What does he mean by that though? I don't know what he's saying.
Somebody earlier said we were being too serious. We're too serious, and I said only an unserious person would say that. So yeah.
We are very.
Or
we
you
are
catch
very
us like in a
serious about what we
serious
do.
point.
That's for sure.
Half the time we've been joking and kikiing in here, and then
Mhm.
you turn on the stream and we're like making a serious point. You know, context is key too. But
Yeah.
it is what it
Anyway,
is.
good stuff, man.
Thanks for hanging out with us.
Yeah. So our work is done, and there's so many different things, right? In the modern world with all these different just distractions, right? Or things that you can turn to. You could be watching Thursday Night Football right now. I know some of you guys are, but thank you. We don't take any minute that you guys spend with us. We don't take that for granted. But now that our work here is done, we still need a little bit of work from you on your end to keep stuff like this happening more frequently. Keep Fanatic Perspective free. Keep the Lando Show free on YouTube. It costs nothing. All you got to do is just tap one simple button for us. Just like the video, and that does that
goes a long way.
Does immense amounts of work for us, and helps us continue the growth of the platform. Finding the Fanatic Perspective, the sports below the surface fanatics, more people like you guys out there that we're talking to right now that we just spent the last hour and a half having a fun football conversation with. It brings more of them into this community, and it continues to expand upon a really good thing right now. So, Steve, shout out to you. Shout out to your community. Enjoy the game this weekend. Hook 'em. And we'll have some more Cowboys talk, I'm sure, your channel as well as mine, but we'll continue previewing Jets along the way. I know we didn't really get to too much of that conversation today, but on behalf of Steven, horns always up. On behalf of Inside Texas, hook 'em. And on behalf of me, the Lando Show, thank you guys for being here. Remember that prayer changes things and the war is already won. Talk to you guys soon.